So this stigmata, you heard of these several wounds. There are certain Christian mystics who have such strong devotion to Jesus and such a strong identification with the story of Christ that they actually start developing wounds on certain places in the body. And it's very rare that people have had all 5 wounds, but there have been some mystics who have had all 5 wounds, 2 on the wrists, 2 on the feet, and around the head. Now many Christians, they'll think, oh, this is such a miracle, this is a divine intervention, this shows the link between the person and Jesus. You know, they'll interpret it according to their Christian beliefs, but in terms of science, what's going on here? The influence of the mind over the body. The influence can become so tremendous that you can actually produce wounds just through the influence of the mind. So this is something we always understood in yoga, that there's no sharp division between these two. So once there comes purification of the energies of the body, then there comes a purification of the energies of the mind. Once there comes a purification of the energies of the mind, now when you start sitting in meditation, you'll find it's a far more natural, relaxed, friendly process, less of a struggle. In fact, meditation is not something that can be done. This is a great misunderstanding, that meditation is a technique. It's a certain quality of being. You can be meditative, but you cannot meditate. Meditation is a certain natural awareness, a natural wakefulness. So if you're walking, you'll be meditative. If you're lying down, you'll be meditative. If you're running, you'll be meditative. If you're doing nothing, you'll be meditative. Whatever you do, you will be meditative. Because what we're calling a meditative consciousness is a natural quality. So you take the seed, put it in the soil, the right climate, the right sunlight, the proper care, the right amount of water. Now flowers start blooming. You don't have to do anything. Effort is needed just to prepare the inner atmosphere so that life starts happening. So this is precisely what it is we're doing in yoga. You're just preparing this seed of possibility, the seed of potential for growth. And it seems that that's all that life is interested in. It constantly, there's this creative energy that constantly wants to break through its boundaries. This is why whatever we happen to be doing in life, you find, yes, it gives you some satisfaction, but it's never satisfying enough. You think, okay, I'll get an education, then I'll get a really great job. Maybe that will be the source of my happiness. Once you get a good job, you find, okay, it's not so. Or you think, oh, maybe somebody else, I'll get involved in a relationship. Maybe that will be the source of my happiness. And you know, if you're very lucky, somebody, maybe half of the time, he'll go your way. If you're very, very lucky, most of the time it's not so. You find, okay, that's not going to give me the source of my happiness. So whatever we seem to attain in life, it seems that yes, it gives us some temporary satisfaction, but it cannot awaken a certain quality where you're living naturally out of your happiness. So everything that's being done in yoga, it just wants to remove all the false ideas you have about yourself, because you're identified with so many things that you are not. You want to become so many things that you are not. Because what is it that we know about ourselves? The self-image we created about ourselves. So suppose I think I'm a very intelligent human being. Somebody comes along and he says, oh, you're worthless. And this hurts me. Why is that? My self-image has been hurt. Which is what? Just my imagination. The concepts I created about myself. The ideas I created about myself. So this is exactly what you find in meditation. You learn how to watch the mind. And the more you learn how to watch the mind, thoughts as they are coming and going, emotions as they are coming and going, You learn to see things as they are, not judging, not saying this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this should be, this should not be. As human beings, we have this, we want to move towards what's pleasant and avoid the unpleasant. But if you can just learn how to watch anything without being for or against, you find the mind naturally starts to become more still. It naturally starts to become more silent. If thoughts were happening, those thoughts start disappearing. If emotion was there, those emotions start disappearing. Eventually, once the mind is totally silent, then what is it that remains? So that's the ultimate experience of meditation. It wants to reveal what is your true nature. But because we're always caught up in this process of becoming identified with things that we are not, now we're creating a lot of suffering. It reminds me of a story. There was once a stonecutter, and he was cutting stones on the side of the street. And he just looked over to the other side, and he saw a very wealthy merchant. He was a very rich merchant on the street there, and many people were familiar with him. He had such recognition amongst the people. So he became envious, and he thought, okay, I would like to be as powerful as this merchant. And suddenly, just like that, he found he has become that merchant. And he became the merchant, but he looked on the other side of the street, and he noticed that there were a group of people from the government who were carrying a high official from the government on a high seat, and everybody was bowing down, And he thought, my God, this guy has even more recognition than the merchant. How powerful is this guy? I would also like to become as powerful as him. So again, snap of a finger. He realized he's become that government official. Hated by the people who are bowing down. They're just bowing down out of fear. But he has become that high official. And he was sitting on his seat, and he suddenly looked up to the sun, scorching hot heat. It was a very hot day. He thought, my God, this sun, everybody's life is dependent on it. I want to be as powerful as the sun. Again, he became, in a split moment, he became the sun. So he became the sun with his light spreading all over the fields, destroying the crops of the land, hated by the farmers. And then a black cloud came in front of the sun and blocked its light. He thought, my God, now I've become the sun, but even this cloud is more powerful than me. I want to become that cloud. Again, just from a flash of a moment, just from the thought of it, he became that cloud. And he thought, okay, now his darkness was pervading all over the land, heavy rain. He thought, okay, now I'm really powerful. But he felt something pushing against him. He said, what's going on? What the hell is this? So he looked on the side. He said, oh my God, it's the wind. If even the wind can push away what I am right now, I want to become as powerful as this wind. Again, he became the wind. So he was traveling through the air, and he came across a very large stone, and he couldn't hit down the stone. So he thought, okay, I want to become again as powerful as the stone. Again, he found he became the stone, a very large, towering, like a monument. And he was the stone. But suddenly he felt pieces of himself chiseling away, bits of himself falling off. So he looked down, and what did he see? He saw a stonecutter. From a stonecutter to a stonecutter. Full circle. So this is exactly what the whole process of yoga is like. You're making a full circle, breaking down all the false ideas of yourself and discovering what is your true nature. That is the experience of yoga.